Have you ever wondered how these AI automation agencies make millions of dollars every single year? I know what you're probably thinking. You probably need years of experience or a computer science degree to build automations like this. And even if you could build it, where would you even find clients? So today I'm going to show you a real AI automation request that we received from a client, a framework on how to decide what to build and the exact step-by-step process of how to build it. And stick around to the end and I'll show you how much you should charge to build these types of automations. The best part is you only need one AI tool to do this, and even complete beginners can do this. If you're new here, I'm Sean. I've been using these AI tools for the last couple of years now. I own and run an agency working with some of the world's leading brands, and what I found is there's one or two AI tools that outperform the rest by far. Now I want to show you something. This is an actual email I got last week from a client, and just for context, this client is paying us $6,000 retainer every single month. So look at what he's asking. I'd like the team to be more analytical in their approach to sales page changes. Do you have a method or process you use for this, or one you can recommend? Nothing too complicated, but effective, ensuring we know the impact of our changes. And this is the exact problem most people building landing pages have. They make a change, a new headline, a new button, new layout, and they have no idea if it just helped or hurt their results. So let me show you quickly how this client's team actually operates, because it will give you some context on what we're going to build later on. Right, now when someone on his team wants a change to a landing page, they raise a ticket in their project management software, and then the developer picks it up. He makes the change and ships it. Standard process. They use Builder.io as a CMS, which is basically just a landing page builder. So all the changes are made in that. And I'm just telling you this so you understand the implementation later on. So here's the actual problem. First, after a change, nothing tracks whether it actually worked. The ticket gets closed, everyone moves on, and 3 weeks later, nobody can say if conversion went up or down because of it. Second, and this is the one the client really cares about, should they even make the change at all? Right now, it's just a gut call, and what he wants is an analytical way to answer it before he even ships. So before you build anything for a client, there's a question you need to ask yourself, and it's the one that actually matters. Not what can I build, what does the client actually want at the end of this? It's their dream outcome. Every client has one. They don't care about AI automations, workflows, or fancy dashboards. All they want is the result. So here's the simple framework I use to decide what to build. Before you build anything, run the idea through these filters. Most ideas die in the first one, and that's a good thing. 1. Is it high frequency? The best things to automate happen over and over again. Rare one-off tasks don't make sense to automate. Now the client side is an education site with many offers and pages, and they are constantly changing copy, designs, and layouts. So that ticks off high frequency requirement. 2. Is it rule-based? The best things to automate follow clear rules. Judgment-heavy tasks make really bad builds. 3. Can you measure the impact? If you can't prove it worked, you won't keep the client. So here's the initial solution I proposed, and it's the same one I'm about to show you on this build. The idea is simple. Before you ship any change to a page, you run it through a set of proven CRO frameworks first. So instead of guessing, you get a score and clear feedback on whether the change is likely to help or hurt before it even goes live. And the tool we're going to build all of this with today is Claude. It's one of the strongest models out there right now for reasoning through messy judgment-based problems. And evaluating sales page change is exactly the kind of problem. I'm going to give Claude its first prompt. In this one, I'm just typing straight into Claude chat. Are there any measurable frameworks we can use to evaluate potential changes to a sales page landing page? A short while later, and Claude has come back with 4 measurable frameworks we can use to score any change to a sales page. All right, let's take that and start building a workflow. And if you've never heard the word workflow before, it's just a set of saved instructions Claude follows every time. So instead of re-explaining the task, you run it once and it does the whole thing the same way every time. I've got a whole video on explaining workflows and why they're so powerful. I'll leave a link to that up here. But for the purpose of this video, it's kind of the sweet spot between a skill and an actual full-blown app. So now I'm going to ask Claude to write me the prompt that builds the workflow, because the truth is Claude writes a way better prompt than I ever could. First, let's create a folder and supply Claude Code our instructions on how to build the workflow. Create me a prompt for Claude Code workflow where we can ask a question about a change to a sales page, and it evaluates the change against those 4 frameworks. The goal is to use this to guide changes to sales pages. 30 seconds later, and it's handed me back a full prompt. And honestly, this is better than anything I could have written myself. Now let's take that over to Claude Code and actually build the thing. Now behind the scenes, Claude Code is building our workflow. And once the workflow is built, a couple of minutes later, you'd be able to type something like this into Claude Code. Run the workflow on viewsmax.com. I want to change the header to make more profit, more content, and more views. And here's what it does behind the scenes. It goes and looks at your actual sales page. It grabs a screenshot of it and the underlying code. So it's judging the change in context. You can see our existing layout, your other copy, where the header sits, and then it runs your proposed change through our 4 CRO frameworks all at once, each looking at a different angle: testability, friction and clarity, the direction of the conversion shift, and priority. It cross-checks where they agree, and more importantly, where they disagree. And at the other end, you get a score that looks like this. And that's requirement 2. What he actually wants isn't a dashboard, it's confidence every change is moving the business in the right direction. This gives him exactly that. Right now, the workflow scores a change in theory. The score in a vacuum is worthless. It tells me a new headline should convert better, not whether it actually did on my client's live page. So the next job is to close that gap. Tie every change to an actual result. So let's turn this into an ad. Here's the simplest way to think about it. 2 things have to connect. Builder.io, which the landing pages are built on, the change is logged there with the timestamp, and the conversion numbers we can track with our app that we're about to build. That's the actual result. And don't worry, it's super simple. Couple of prompts in Claude at most. Now, always start in plan mode. The best builders, even the people who made these tools, plan before they build. Build an app that connects to Builder.io and tracks changes to pages along with conversions management system. The goal is for us to be able to track changes to a landing page and determine if it had a positive or negative effect on the conversion rate. And click go. Once you're happy with the plan, you can click go again. A few minutes later and it's built our app. And when we log in, you can see the conversion rate over time. Visitors, revenue numbers, conversions, and revenue. We can see the funnels here. And if I click on install, it gives us the tracking code we need to install on the site. This will track conversions. If we come down here, we have a list of changes. This is all dummy data for now, but if I click on this, we can see the before and after. So the impact on the conversion rate tied to that change. Back on the main page, we can see the different offers that are being tracked. An offer is basically a funnel that the landing page serves. And if we go back to the main overview, you can see on the graph where the change took place and how it affected conversion. So it's a very easy visual guide for our customer. So why would a client want to pay for this? Because you're automating sales page optimization end to end. No more CRO consultant, no project manager, no designer, and we could even get rid of the developer. The client can now just ask for a change, run it through this framework, they approve it, and then the system applies it to the site. More conversion from the same traffic and less work on the team, not more. That's the whole pitch. Now, to price this build, don't guess. Use a PERT estimate. PERT stands for Program Evaluation and Review Technique. It's a great way to give you a range of hours and prices from best to worst case so that you and your client have peace of mind that there will be no unforeseeable costs or delays. Drop a comment below if you want access to our template. You want to charge for your hours for the initial build and also add a 3-month maintenance package. Charge this at roughly 5 to 10% of the initial build. And there's an obvious upsell. An AI audit is part of the front-end offer. You run their business through an audit framework, hand them a scored report of what's costing them time and money. And that becomes the natural lead into more work. Now, building has never been easier. That's the easy part. Getting customers is where most people fail, and that's what I write about in my newsletter every week. I'll leave a link in the description. Now, go out and build something, and I'll see you in the next one.